Welcome to the locker room. The conversation we need to have, the truth we avoid. Here, the game is over. The cameras are off. The crowd has gone home. This is where real life begins. Every episode, we talk about the conversations of mental health, relationships, leadership, faith, purpose, politics, money, trauma, success, failure, grief, identity, and everything in between. No scripts, no filters, no easy answers, just honest conversations that challenge us to think, grow, and become better. Welcome to the locker room. So, today on the locker room, we're going to be talking about who are you when nobody is watching, right? So, one of the biggest things that we look at when who are you when nobody is watching is who truly are you? Like what is your identity pretty much? Right? Character isn't built in public, it's revealed in private. See, today we're asking one of life's hardest questions. Again, who are you when nobody is watching, applauding, or even judging? Today we're going to talk about character versus reputation, living with integrity, why people wear masks, social media versus reality, and becoming the same person in every room. So let's start with that first one. We're going to break that down here. We're going to break it down to where it's uh, your character versus your reputation. Now, one of the first questions I want to ask is, do you believe that your character outweighs your reputation? Or do you believe that your reputation outweighs your character? See, that's one of the things that a lot of people should be looking at when we ask that question of who are you when nobody's watching? What does your character speak to who you are as a person when everybody's around? Are you a person with high morale, high character, uh, always boosting people up, or are you a person that's always down about every single thing? When you walk in a room, does the room light up? Right? When you walk in a room, does the room light up? Now, let me pull this up here so that way I can make sure I got my comments and I'm not missing nothing and everything's good to go here. And I want to make sure we're being respectful to everybody. And I'll make sure that it's down. Alrighty. And so, again, your reputation. So when you walk in the room, does the room light up, or is everybody kind of like, man, like I can't stand to be around this person. Like this person's always a negative person. This person's not really positive. What does your reputation speak when you walk into the room versus what does your reputation speak when you leave the room? Um, you know, are you the person when you walk in a room and everybody's excited to see you, excited to be around you? Everybody's got something positive to say about you. What kind of person are you truly? Are you the person that is going to uh, help people succeed and want the best for everybody, or are you the person that just really don't care to be around anyone? You just want to get in, get out, and go about your business. And so, again, what kind of person are you truly? Um, I think that that's an important question of, like who you truly are as a person, because your character speaks volume. Now, when we look at character, right, you got to look at different traits or different characteristics of a person, right? And you got to know what your characteristics are uh, as a person. So in the chat, just go ahead and put out, some characteristics that you have as a person that could be seen as beneficial, could be seen as something that is not so much beneficial. And then we're going to discuss that, and I'm going to tell you some characteristics as well, right? And this can be the tough one right here because you got to be open, you got to be honest, you got to be willing to just really challenge yourself, right? And that open and honest questions can be about, what are my characteristics? Who am I truly as a person, right? And so we look at that already. Am I an honest person? Am I a kind person? Am I respectful? Am I responsible? Am I confident? Am I hardworking? Am I patient, empathetic, creative, optimistic? And those are just some positive characteristics right there, right? And I'll be honest with you, some of these are challenging for people. It's challenging for me to even try to put myself in every single one of these categories. Am I honest? Yes. All the time? No. Am I a kind person? I would like to think so. Am I respectful? Yes. Am I responsible? I would like to think so. Am I confident? I'm confident. Just depends on what you ask me to do. I'll say that part. Am I hardworking? I believe I am in most cases. Patient? I struggle in that one, and I'll be honest. I struggle with being patient. Empathetic? I definitely struggle with being empathetic. It just is something that I have to work towards, and something that I have to be able to acknowledge that I struggle with, and then kind of move forward from there. Am I creative? Uh, Everybody's creative in their own way, so that's kind of a challenging, characteristic right there. Um, am I optimistic? Yes, I am. I always like to see the positive in people, but then you hear that saying multiple times. Uh, like fool me once, shame on me, or fool me once, shame on you, something like that, right? But you understand what I'm trying to say. Um, but those are just some positive characteristics, right? And then you look at some negative characteristics, right? Are you lazy? Are you dishonest? Are you selfish? Are you arrogant? Are you impatient? Are you rude? Are you stubborn? Are you pessimistic? Right? And so we look at laziness, like at times people can be lazy. Am I lazy at times? Yes, I am. But there's at times where we try to justify our laziness or try to justify our dishonesty. There's times where we try to justify all of these negative characteristics of us. And at times we shouldn't be trying to justify these things, and we should be trying to work towards getting better as a person, right? Because this is only going to help develop you into being that better person overall, right? We look at like some reputations, right? So your reputation uh, really determines how people perceive you when you walk in the room, and it's like, okay, are you a trustworthy person? Are you dependable? Are you respected? Are you a leader? Are you a professional? Are you generous? Are you loyal? Are you fair? Are you reliable? And are you visionary? Right. And so those are just some of those like reputations that you can have, right? And trustworthy. I think, in my honest opinion, when we look at people's reputation of being trustworthy, trustworthy is one of those things that, everybody has my trust until you prove that you can't be trusted anymore, right? So, like, can you be upfront and honest with me? Can you keep promises that you make? Time management. Like, if I say, hey, like, we need to be out of the door and doing X, Y, and Z by this time, like, are we out the door by that time, if not earlier, to make sure we're, staying on time and on top of everything, right? Are you dependable? Meaning, can people count on you? Like, if I call you up, hey, I really need a favor. I need you to come help me out with whatever it may be, or hey, I'm really struggling with something. I just need someone to talk to, right? Can I count on you to pick up that phone? Can I count on you to come over? Right? Are you respected as a person, right? Um, you get many achievements in your life, and in the workplace and sports and different things like that. Are you very well respected as a person? Are you a leader, right? And that's a leader is someone who knows how to follow before they can actually lead, but also someone who inspires and guides other people. And not only just life, not only in just sports, not only just in the workplace, but in everything. Are you a professional, right? And so we look at a professional as being competent, right? Do you have integrity? Some of the things that we learn, or like even values that we learn in the military and is in the army is loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. And it's easy to remember those because we do so many of those 8 count push-ups and say that, and it spells out leadership, right? And do you have that integrity? Do you have the integrity to do the right thing when nobody's watching, when nobody's looking? Are you generous? Are you known for going out and just helping others? Are you known for going out and being in the community and giving back to the community, right? When people look back at you and when people look back at your life overall, are you known for giving back and just being out there and helping others? That dependable person that people can count on. Are you loyal to your family, your friends, your organizations that you're a part of? Right? It's tough because at times you're not going to agree with everything that someone says. And it feels like at times that you want to give up and that you don't want to be a part of an organization anymore. You don't want to be a part of that friend group anymore. You want to distance yourself from your family. But are you staying true and loyal to your friends that are in your close circle that you can trust, that are dependable, that are loyal to you, right? The same thing with those organizations. Like it's challenging in the world that we live in today because inflation is a thing. We constantly want to make a dollar. We constantly want to work for someone who cares about the employee. We want to be like, hey, listen, I need this day off because I got to go to my kid's basketball game or my kid's, recital, whatever it may be. Can I have off? And if your employer says no, do you stay loyal to that organization or do you just get up and leave and find the next one that's going to allow you to be a part of your kid's recital, sporting event, or whatever it may be, right? Um, who knows? If your brother, is y'all butting heads or whatever, are you going to stay loyal to them even over an argument? Are you going to make up, go out, grab something to eat, and not necessarily act like it didn't have, nothing ever happened, but just move forward because it could be a conversation that actually needed to happen. But we got to pay attention to these kind of things here. Are you a fair person? Are you a fair and impartial person? Right? Meaning, like, do you treat people equally and justly as well? When it's time to like recommend awards, and you know, are you doing it fair and unbiased? Right? Are you looking at things in a way that is going to allow people to be thankful for these opportunities? Are you looking at the same person who has that capability of moving up to the next level, but won't take that or that, but is not as grateful for the accolades that they get from you because they're constantly getting those same accolades? It's like, oh man, I got this already. I could care less. I got another one, whatever. Whereas someone else who may not get something, you recognize them and like, oh man, like you're the player coach of the year or you're the MVP of the season, whatever it may be. But it means a lot more to that person because they never really got nothing in their life. Are you reasonable? Are you consistent when it comes to following through on your commitments? If you say, hey, I'm going to be here at this day at this time, are you going to be there at this day at this time? Now, that's a challenging one because life be life and life happens. Things come up, but you got to communicate. Right. You got to look at this one here, right? Because your reputation, it also has negative impacts to it as well. Excuse me. People can look at you. Are you untrustworthy? Are you dishonest? Are you irresponsible? Are you self-centered? Are you inconsistent? Are you a difficult person to work with? Are you disrespectful? And are you unreliable? And those are, some great, reputations that you have to look at for yourself and be honest with yourself. Put yourself in a situation that you're going to say, "Oh man, I was untrustworthy at this time. I was dishonest. I was unreliable. I was disrespectful." But how do you move forward from that and move on to become a respectful person, a reliable person, an honest and trustworthy person? Right? This is definitely something that you need to dig deep inside. You need to look at yourself first before you can go look at someone else and call them out on what they're doing and how they're living their life, right? Because everybody's in a different season in their life today than the person to their left and their right. I may be going through some struggles that you may never know about, but I may not show them out in public to anyone. And you may be going through some struggles that I may never know about. But it's up to us to be open, to be honest, and to really think about how we can help that person to our left and our right. Right? The next thing we're going to look at is, are you a person who lives with integrity? We talked about integrity already, right? And I have a definition for those that don't know what integrity is. And so I want you to listen to my definition of what integrity is, right? And pull it up from my notes, right? But integrity is the quality of being honest, ethical, and consistent in your values, decisions, and actions, even when no one is watching. Even when no one is watching. Even when no one is watching, or when doing the right thing is difficult. A person with integrity tells the truth even when it's uncomfortable, keeps their promises and commitments, takes responsibility for their actions and mistakes, treats others fairly and respectful, makes decisions based on principles rather than uh, convenience or personal gain, does the right thing even when there's no reward or recognition. An example of integrity that most people will have, or that you'll see most people do, is admitting a mistake, admitting that mistake, right? So admitting that mistake when they have messed up, right? I do that a lot too. Like, even when I know I'm not wrong, I still admit that. um, I try to admit my mistakes because I want people to be able to work with me and trust me, right? I want people to understand, like, oh snaps, that's my fault. I messed up. I'll fix it. Don't worry about it, right? I want people to be at ease and comfortable when they're working. I don't want to point the blame, and I try not to point the blame at others. But that's just the optimistic person in me that sees the good in everybody. Um, Something that people do is return money or property that doesn't belong to them. Following through on a commitment, as we talked about. Integrity, it helps you build the trust and credibility and strengthens relationships and everything that you do. Another thing is why people kind of hide behind this mask, right? And excuse me, people kind of hide behind a mask because they don't want people to really know who they truly are. And this kind of ties into the next thing, and we can kind of combine those together. But social media versus reality, right? Because when we look at social media allows you to put on a front, so that way you can be free, you can be open, you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can feel however you want to feel, you can pretty much just let the weight of the world go and you can be this different person on social media. Whereas reality, it's harder to say whatever you want. It's harder to almost do whatever you want. It's harder to almost let the problems of your everyday life go because you're living it every second of your life, every moment of your life. You're living that, you carrying that weight or whatnot. Like, I'm not saying that people don't speak freely and open about whatever they want, but it's a lot easier to do that hiding behind a screen, hiding behind that mask, right? People can go by a different name on social media, but in person, they're somebody else. Social media is like their alter ego, their their alternate universe that they live in, that they go to, and they live this lifestyle, and they feel free, and they say and do whatever they want. But see, you got to become the same person in every single room that you walk in, no matter what. When you walk in that room, hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today? No matter what, when you walk in that room, hey, it was a good discussion today. I know we may not have agreed on everything, but I hope you have a great night and I'll talk to you tomorrow. But we got to learn how to press on. We got to learn how to move forward. We got to learn how to stop carrying the baggage of everyday life and holding people to grudges, because it is difficult. We only live one life, and we need to start living in the moment. We need to start holding ourselves accountable, but we need to start holding everybody else accountable. Now, I'm going to ask this question right here. If every title, accomplishment, and possession disappeared tomorrow, who would you still be? Would you be your alter ego? Would you be the person that you were set out to be? Will you be that same person when nobody is watching, when nobody is around? Like, who will you be when everything just disappears? Like, if tomorrow you walked into work and you got let go from your job, will you be pissed off to the point that you're going to curse people out and you're going to start breaking stuff and you got to get the cops to escort you out the building? Or are you going to be that same genuine, happy person that was thankful and grateful that got hired in a job that they desperately needed? I want you guys to think about this before we wrap this up here. Think about a time that you weren't proud of yourself. How did you feel? What was it like? And think about a lesson learned from failure and what changed you to be a better person from failing. Again, think about a time that you weren't proud of yourself, and then think about a time where you learned a lesson from failure and what changed you from failing. And we're pretty much going to wrap up with this right here as well too, right? Is your reputation is what people think about you. Your character is what you do when no one is watching. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you out there today to go out there and do one good deed this week that nobody will ever know you did. And if you ask what a good deed is anything that pretty much is going to help someone else out. Like, alrighty, someone's at the in the line and they got a cup of coffee. Hey, I want to buy you a cup of coffee today. Can I do that? Sure. Or hey, I know gas prices are high right now, but I got an extra $20. Can I buy you $20 in gas? Or hey, you want to go have something to eat? Let's go out and have something to eat. Hey, I see that you need to mow your lawn. Can I mow your lawn for you? Those are just some examples of good deeds. You got other good deeds out there where you can get the community together and you do a community cleanup. You can go out there and get the community together and do basketball clinics, football clinics, soccer clinics, baseball clinics, you name it, doing something for the better good of our community. And just see how you feel after you give back to someone who may be in need or of an assistance. Think about it. Remember, every one of us is fighting a battle someone else can't see. Keep showing up. Keep asking the hard questions. Keep having the conversations that matter. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who avoid the truth, they're the ones willing to face it. We'll see you next time inside the locker room.